Hello, Psych 100 students. Are you ready for stress? No. Lifestyle and Health, Chapter 14. Have you ever had a day that just didn't go right? Maybe you look like this fellow right here. Not the day you expected to wake up to. Well, we should cherish those days that go well because stress is our middle name, right? What exactly is stress? I love the definition, right? Exceed the organism's ability to respond in a healthy way. Yeah, that makes sense. And there are a lot of things that can do that. Some things stress out some of us, but not others. And those stressors can be defined by things in our environment, right? I always love it when people say, "You push my buttons, you stress me out, you make me angry, you make me stress." And it's like, "Ooh, I didn't know that person was a Jedi." Right? I didn't know they had that ability just to make you feel certain ways. Now they may say certain things, do certain other things, and that gets you stressed out. But you don't have to react that way, right? Unless you choose to. If you get a chance, go online and take this assessment. It's called the Social Readjustment Rating Scale, and it will measure all the things that happened to you during this last year. Now, it wouldn't surprise me if some of you check off quite a few of these things, but it's a good snapshot, kind of like a photograph of who you are today based on this last past year. So go, if you find it online, again, the Social Readjustment Rating Scale test, and you just merely write down the life change units if something happened to you directly, not to somebody else, and then add them all up, going from the time you take the assessment to a year previous, and see if you score low, moderate, or high. I didn't say, are you high? I said if you scored high, right? Now, there's all kinds of things that can get us stressed, whether it's work, whether it's school, whether it's pandemics, and all the related issues. Lots of things can get us stressed. Good thing about this chapter, and I'm not that crazy about talking with stress because I just feel like, wow, maybe I'll just make you more stressed, right? And school is very stressful. But it also talks about coping and living a healthy lifestyle. That's the part I like, right? How many of you have moved at least once or more during your lifetime? Boy, let me tell you, moving is such a headache. Such a headache. I mentioned this before, with my brother, one of my brothers who have wonderful visual spatial abilities, packing all my stuff in one U-Haul truck as opposed to me thinking it was several U-Haul trucks. But even good things, let's say moving to a bigger environment, a nicer environment, even that can be stressful because you never realize how much stuff you had until you get ready to move, right? Catching public transportation, uh, driving in traffic. Now, I love going to big cities and traveling, but I don't like sitting in traffic thinking my life is wasting away. And that's what it sort of feels like at times, unless you got some good soothing music, you're in some good company. Now, I have to issue a complaint against somebody in one of my classes. I don't know who, I have a suspicion. I don't know who, but one of you took a picture of me in my home. Now, how you got to my home and took that picture, I don't know. But you caught me, let's put it this way, not in my best light. I'm going to go ahead and show this picture that a student took of me, not in my best light. Now, if you study this picture carefully, you'll see that besides my colorful shorts, I'm not living the most healthiest lifestyle, right? I'm toking away junk food, pop galore. I call it pop, you guys call it soda. Uh, I'm watching a sporting event, but I should be out there participating in the sporting event. So, in some ways, we contribute to our own stress. So, as much as we may complain about how stressed we are, what are we doing to counteract it? So, certain things make things a little bit more stressful than other things. Negative events, uncontrollable events, ambiguity can really stress us out. Now, it's not guaranteed to make us stressed, but let's face it, when bad things happen, we get stressed out. When uncontrollable things happen, we get stressed out. And when things are a little murky, a little bit gray, right? You ever had a professor that says, "Oh, turn in things whenever"? Um, well, how come I got an F instead of an A? Oh, let me just send you these mystical messages and you'll figure it out. That's two. We like things a little structured than that. Or suppose your significant other, you're having a conversation with them and you ask them, "Do you love me?" And they say, "Maybe." That's very stressful, right? We're used to yes or no. What does maybe mean? Now, let's talk about gas. When I say the word gas, I don't know what comes to mind, rising prices or bean burrito, right? But I think of general adaptation syndrome. And here's an image of a man by the name of Hans Selye. Hans Selye. And Han, who lived in Canada, came up with a theory that says, look, stress affects us physiologically. If you remember Masterson Johnson, who studied the sexual cycle of individuals, Hans Selye was more interested in what does stress do to us physically, and some of us can attest to that. That stress can really changes our biochemistry in a hurry. And Selye broke it up into three main categories. His categories were alarm, resistance, and exhaustion. Right? During alarm, we initially are encountering the stress, and our heart rate might go up, our blood pressure might go up, our sugar levels might go up. That's bad for me. It's bad for everybody. And then during resistance, because the stress is elongated, our resistance to illness starts to reduce. So when people get stressed, usually around exam days, we start getting colds and flus, we start feeling really achy and so forth. And finally, exhaustion, it wears us out. So let me show you how general adaptation syndrome works. You're driving down the street on the freeway and somebody cuts right in front of you and you have to slam your brakes. Luckily, you don't hit the car in front of you, but your heart's racing. You can barely breathe. And after that, your knees feel really weak. You just had an experience of gas, general adaptation syndrome. Right? Prolonged enough, it affects your immune system. And that's why we have the breakdown of our body. And let's be honest, if we listen to our body, it will tell us, blowing a trumpet as loud as possible, you need to change your life. You need to de-stress. You need to relax. Look at this woman. Does she look stressed out? These are all the physiological things. I suppose if my internal organs were showing, I'd be stressed out too. These are all the physiological things that can happen in neural adaptation syndrome. Oh my goodness. Stanley says not only does it wear you out, but in some cases, it can actually kill you. Stress can kill you. Now, we've got friction and war all over the world at any given part in history, including now. People just can't get along for some reason. And sometimes there's bombs and bullets flying. And some people die from that, not because the bomb hit them or a bullet hit them. It's because every time they walk out of their house, they have the potential for getting hurt or killed. and that takes its toll. Let's be honest. In the past, maybe you caught a bus, you got into conversation. You have the most interesting conversations at bus stops or on buses. And you're talking to the person, and they told you what age they were. And you thought they were 20 or 30 years older than what they said. I mean, take a look at me. I'm 21. Do I look at? No, I'm kidding. It takes its toll on people. It ages people. So beware of the major life stressors, right? Things that can really change our lives. And sometimes we have no control over those things, right? But also the daily hassles, right? Those little things can really burn you. The person that really doesn't stop at the stop sign, the person who looks like they're getting ready to leave so you can get that choice parking spot, and they just sit there forever. You got your turn signal on, and you see them going like this and like that, and that's just the fellows. We haven't even got to the ladies yet. And then they get out of their car and leave, and all they had to do was just say, I'm not leaving. That's all they had to do. Those daily hassles. But guess what? We decide if those daily hassles are going to get to us or not. And we don't have to let them get to us, do we? We do not let them have to get to us. Okay, I'm going to show a naked body. I'm not trying to freak out people. If I've done this in the past, I always warn you in advance. So, cover your eyes up or get the kids out of the room and so forth. Stress can affect I sense some disappointment from some of you, can affect so many parts of our body from top to bottom. Everything from, well, let me ask you, where do you feel it in your body when you get stressed? Head starts hurt right here. Neck starts achy. Shoulders. Stomach's all messed up. Face starts breaking out. Guess what? You're in the normal range. Everything from headaches to sweating a lot to allergies, rashes. You might start thinking, well, it's been windy lately, so that's why the Santa Ana winds. That's why my allergies are picking up. Could be, or could be your stress levels, right? Heart pounding, right? Sweaty hands. That's why I usually don't require oral presentations in my class because people freak out with that stuff. Breathing issues, asthma. But check this out over here. You might be plugged up or free flowing because of your stress levels. Please take good care of yourself. I usually say that multiple times. If I'm out and about, going to the grocery store, picking up necessary items, I always tell people take care, and I really mean it. I want people to take care of themselves, not just to, maintain their overall health, but also their mental health, right? Because those two things are tied together. Now, let's be honest. Some of us contribute to our own stress. It's like we don't have enough stress, so we have to add more to our stress level. Now, this is a composition of one of you. I'm not going to say who it is, but you know who it is. And sometimes we are the king and queen of procrastination, and we blame somebody else, right? Because we didn't get the paper in the way we wanted to, or the exam, or the chapter notes, or whatever the case might be. It's easier to blame somebody else, but sometimes we have to just rearrange our life to make it a little bit more organized, a little bit less stressful. We're going to continue next time talk about what we can do about this.